In this demonstration, I want to talk to you a little bit about an option for correcting color that's not in the camera raw view. So in the last one, I showed you how to correct the color using camera raw, and we adjusted all of these values right here. But let's pretend for a moment that this isn't a raw image and we don't get this option in our preview, and whenever we open the image it just goes straight into the regular Photoshop. If you wanted to follow along with this demo, you could open up your original start, I think it's 02 start.jpg file that looks like this. It's still got the bad white cast, or if you didn't save a copy, then the other thing you could do is go ahead and open that starting image, and you could reset all of these values so that they are set to 0, and then in that case you would be able to just say open image and you would be able to get this file. If you want, though, really quickly beforehand, I'm just going to quickly crop it in the raw view just because I can, and then that way we're not going to be looking at an uncropped image, and then I can drag it out here. And once again, just like in the other, I can still rotate it and approximate it so that I can crop it properly. And I'm just going to sort of do a quick and dirty crop. I'm not worried too much about the edges because I just want to show you some alternate options for actually fixing this color without actually doing it through the raw. Okay, so if we go open image, alright, we've got this image that doesn't look too hot. So if you notice over here in the adjustments panel on the right, if you don't have yours open, you can always go up to window and then choose adjustments. Okay, but in the adjustments panel you have some different things that you can do, and instead of permanently modifying the data, what we're going to do is we're going to add adjustment layers so that the layer will create a cast or a change in color or something similar so that it's affecting what's underneath it, but if it's not a permanent change. So first of all, let's fix the contrast. I'm going to click on this button that looks like a little mountain sort of, and it's the levels adjustment. And it shows you this thing, like I said, looks sort of mountainous, and this is called a histogram, this little mountain. And what it is it's a representation of pixels that are in the image, but it shows them at a representation of the number of pixels for each color. So if you were to go along this horizontal x-axis, then you would see on the very far is the blackest of blacks, and on the very far right is the whitest of whites, and in between are these gray tones that are sort of like gamma tones. And then vertically on the y-axis, basically what it is it's you don't see it here, but it's showing you an essentially like a numeric value of the total number of each of the pixels that are on this x-axis and how many pixels that are represented of that color in each particular number of pixels that are in the picture. So what we can do is look at this and say, well, generally speaking, in any image you always want there to be at least some representation of the blackest of blacks, and we really kind of don't have that right now, and you can kind of see that just by looking at this image that it's kind of washed out and overexposed. So what we could do is we could drag this black scrubber in. So what it's doing is it's adding more contrast, and it's reassigning. What it's going to do is it's going to reassign some of these other pixels, some of these other images, and it's going to reassign them to darker values so that we can achieve a blacker black in the dark areas. And then if you wanted to make some of the lighter lights a little bit brighter, you could drag the white scrubber in. And then the middle, I said, are gamma tones. They're like the gray tones, and you can play with that and make a decision as to where you want that to go. So we could leave that there, and this is kind of adjusting, it's correcting the levels, because you always want the blacks to at least have some pure representation of black, like we have here, and the whites to have some pure representation of white, and the gammas, you can figure that out in between based on what just looks right. And what you'll see here is that it added a layer in our layer panel. So that means that it's not a destructive change of data. If I turn this little eyeball off, then what you see is the original picture still underneath. Okay, so that's just adjusting the contrast so that the levels are correct. Now if we decided that we didn't like the color, we could go back and we could adjust the color. And by the way, I always recommend that you adjust the levels first, because a lot of times the color problems will go away, or a lot of the color problems will go away whenever the levels are corrected. So if I click on this little thing that looks like a weight measure, this is the color balance. And so hold on, I'm going to get rid of this just really quickly, and I'm going to move my hand over. Oops, actually I'm going to drag this in so that we have a better visualization of our, I'm going to double click the little weight over here in the layers, so we have a better visualization of the picture. And I'm also going to just undock this panel so I can drag it right here, and then I can look. Oh, it docked itself again. There. So that way I can just look at it separately. Okay? Now, what we have are the tones. We have midtones, we have shadows, and we have highlights. Let's start with the midtones, and then we'll go to the highlights and then the shadows. If I think that the midtones are too much of some color, then I can start to modify them. I think that perhaps there might be a little bit too much cyan in this image, but at the same time, if I take it too far red, then it gets too red. So maybe it's not cyan that's a problem. Maybe it's actually that I need to go a little bit more towards the yellow and less towards blue. And then if I go down to highlights, this might be where there's too much cyan. Okay, and if I pull it just a hair to the left, maybe +4, I can start to adjust these. And sometimes it helps to exaggerate it to really see where it's going, so that you can see what it is that you're really trying to do. So I'm going to slide it in a little bit to the green, and then you can come in and see if you need any adjustments in your highlights here. And I think that it might be nicer to warm the picture up a little bit and push it a little bit more towards the yellow and take some blue out. Now the shadows, you actually might want to add some more reds, because reds typically can make strong shadows, and then also green. And then that starts to adjust the color in a way that I think it makes it a slightly better image. And again, this is non-destructive, so if we turn this off, you can see that it kind of warmed the picture up. It got rid of that blue cast, and now it's a warmer image. Okay? Anyway, and so you can actually experiment with a lot of these different adjustment layers, and I would encourage you to do so. But that's how you're going to use the adjustment layers, and that's a really simple way that you can quickly fix the color on something when you're not using a Camera Raw file. When you first open it up, you can actually get it so that it'll show up like a normal picture in Photoshop, and then you can start to add non-destructive adjustment layers.